All right. Do you have some Petro sand? Maybe. You have some green sand? Maybe. Maybe not. How about Petro sand that has burnt the oil away? How about just no sand at all? You need some. In this video, you're going to get to see us re-oil, re-energize the Petro sand, and us make green sand from scratch. Watch the video, see how it turns out. Hi everyone, I'm B from Our Dream, Our Purpose. You see me do some sand casting. After a while, the sand actually kind of loses its structure. The oil burns out. So before I do another pour, whether I'm using this, I want to actually, you can see it's like sand. Some of it's got some good parts, some doesn't, but what I want to do is actually regenerate it, put some oil in it. It's the first time I'm doing it. I've seen I've read a lot of different types of oils that you can use on it. Anywhere from olive oil to regular motor oil, used motor oil versus new, a lot of different things. The one consistent thing I saw was 30 weight, straight 30 weight, non-detergent. So I'm actually going to try that, but I want to make sure I get it mixed together. So I'm going to show you how we do it. I'm going to take it out of here. This is half full. And again, it's a finer sand. It's a Petro sand, but again, it's had a lot burn out. I sifted it. But you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a thin layer in here. And I'm going to take some oil, spray it on top, mix it together. A couple different ways I'll mix it together. Find what works for you. This is for doing tile. And I actually will press it together. Also we'll use for doing concrete. Mix it together that way as well. So just really wanting to get the oil mixed in. Once I get this done, then I'll actually put it in there and I'll do more and I'll keep doing it. Then we'll mix it all together. So we have one consistent and then we'll go back in here. But just want to show you how you can re-energize this. Sand casting, I love doing the sand casting. There's a lot of different things, but it does get expensive. I looked the other day and it was about $150 American dollars for 50 pounds. So just give you an opportunity to reuse what you have. And again, I've used this quite a bit, but over time it does wear down. So we'll give just a little bit. So again, I'm just mixing up a little bit with this, and then I want to smash it in, is really kind of get a good even mix. I'll see I'll need to put some more oil in it. I don't want to over oil it. There'll be in a lot of clumps. You want to be able to have the finer sand so it actually get more definition on what you're casting.
I'm really trying to use a lot of pressure to mix the oil with the sand itself. So I'm using this tool, doing it by hand, trying a couple different things. The hand itself ended up working out the best, but again, just trying to get an even mixture throughout this entire container that I have.
What I'm feeling for is I want it to hold together, hold foam. Sprayed a little oil on me. Mix that in. I like that. So let me put this together with that, bring it in closer so you can see the difference between the two. I like that. So you look at these two. See how this has more texture to it? This doesn't. It just falls apart. So I don't want it real thick, but I want it to hold that. It's nice. So we'll keep working it. And that's really all you need to do. See if you can't see this. I got a thinner spot on it so I can just go back and forth. So I'm mixing up like this, but you can see the little lumps in there? What that's from is that's actually the oil. So what I'm trying to do, and that's the purpose of this, is really smash the oil in so it spreads out throughout the sand evenly. So I'm just trying to get those lumps out is really what I'm trying to do. So it's evenly spread throughout. It holds a little bit, falls apart a little bit. It's okay. A little more oil in it. And you can probably put more in the first time. I just want to do a little bit at a time, get the right texture. This might not be perfect as the first one, as exact, I should say, as the first one, but we're going to mix them together. When you're doing it, what I'm doing is just trying to mix it. This is mixing it up. This smashes it together. So it's really spreading the oil out throughout the sand. So that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm using my hand. I'm using this. You could use a 2x4. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but it's really just getting that oil mixed in evenly across everything. So it's not just this is mixing it up. It's really getting it mixed in together, smashed together, I say. That's pretty good. I think it's looking pretty good. You can pack it down. Same thing. Holds pretty good. So what I'm doing here is not smashing it as much as I did before. I'm really mixing it together, because we want all the different textures mixed in there. Because it's not going to be the same how I mixed them. So then we'll get some more. Again, we're just mixing it together. Do the same over here. All right, we're good. We've mixed this all up together. I put it all in this bucket. I keep it in this bucket, just store it in there so it makes it easier. But you can see there's a big difference what you saw earlier, and it just packs a lot better. So I'll actually be able to do that. Again, you can use a lot of different things. Let me know in the comments what you use. I really saw 30 weight non-detergent was the most. I used almost a quart on the sand that I have. So I'll actually be able to see when I do the first cast how it stands up, and then we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. Keep watching. We'll go to the next part. Thank you. All right, I'm back. A lot of stuff on the table, different than you just saw. What we're going to try to do here is make some what's called green sand. We're going to use some play sand, and we're going to sift to get the real fine things out of it. We're going to use some kitty litter. Now, this kitty litter is a fragrance-free. It's a clay-based. We're actually going to grind it up in the blender, make it a dust. We'll sift that, and then we'll mix a percentage. We want about 10 to 11% of this clay to the sand. We'll mix that all up. That's why you see the drill here and a paint mixer here in the bucket. We'll mix it all up in the bucket. Once we get a good mixture, everything's evened out, then we'll actually put it in a pan, put water in it, mix it to the right texture that we want to use. So I'll clear some of this. First thing we'll do is sift this sand out to get us a good amount of sand there. Then we'll go to the kitty litter, grind it up, sift it, get the, you'll see this scale here. I'm weighing it because I want to know how much weight we're going to have and what that 10, 11% needs to be. So get some of these things out of the way, and then we'll start sifting the sand. All right. So I moved some things out of the way, but have a lot of bins here still. The reason being is I'm actually going to pour sand into this one. We'll sift out of this into this white bucket over here where I actually have it on a scale. So we'll be able to measure it, and then we'll pour it right into the red bucket where we will mix that and the clay once it's down to a very fine amount. I'm not going to put all of it in. Let me get one more bin so we can actually, that's good, put the bigger pieces in. All right, we use this. Start it off. Let's see how. Again, I weighed it, this weighs about 10, 11 ounces. This white bucket by itself. Most of it went through a little bit. The bigger ones I'll just dump, actually. Save this metal can for later. So it's actually sifting through a lot better than I expected. But let me bring you a little closer so you can see what we're doing. So just shaking this sifter over. The finer stuff is going through it. And you're just getting a little bit left. It's the bigger stuff. we'll put in there. See how it turns out. Let's try a little bigger sifter. See, got bigger stuff on there. Working good now. I'll turn the scale on. So that's 5 pounds, 70, let's see, 5 pounds, 5 and 7, 6 ounces. So we're gonna put 5 more ounces in. Reason being is that's the weight of the container. It's 10.75. So now we'll dump this. Yep. But we'll turn this off. When I turn it back on, I should zero that out. Perfect. So we got 5 pounds in there. I did that little, that's 10 pounds. So we've got 15 pounds. Keep going. All right, so this is just shy of 50 pounds. To be honest, it's close enough, so we'll go with 50 pounds. We did pull some out, thin it out, but not enough, 6, 7 ounces. That's really about it. And we'll get this cleaned up and grind. All right, so we finished up the sand. Now we're gonna do the kitty litter. And again, this is a clay mixture. You wanna get the clay mixture, it's just not gonna mix. That's what you're looking for. I'm gonna put it in this blender. And yes, I'm using it, I'll be honest, it's one of the best in the world. It's a Vitamix blender, it's a dry container on it. It's gonna grind it up for me. It's gonna do exactly what I want. So you don't have to use one of these. I just happen to have one, so I'm gonna use it. Again, I'll put a little bit in there. Let's just put a little bit and see how it does. And the purpose of it is just to make it into a finer dust. Pour it in here. Same thing we did with the sand. The difference is what didn't get ground up, what's still left in here, won't throw it out. We'll put it right back in there and grind it with some more. We got a little bit more. Oh, right back in there. Try a little bit more. Now, this container here will not be used back in the house. This will purely be used for out here for dry goods. Granted, just testing different things like this. So, won't mix those in. Won't get that mixed. But again, it's a very fine powder. Very nice. Quick. Makes easy work of it. Because this is a clay, it's actually filling up the holes in the strainer. All right, we ground everything up. Now we're going to need about 5 pounds, a little over 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 ounces, give or take, to mix with that sand. But I did the whole bag. It was 7 pounds. I did the whole thing, and then we'll bag the rest of it and save it for next time we want to do a more mix. So blender worked great, no exceptions. Highly recommend the Vitamix, I'll be honest. But we'll put everything away and get to mixing this little by little, and then we'll start adding water to it. Let's get this zeroed out. I want, give or take, 10-11% in it from what I understand. So I'm going to scoop in. Let's see how much. My plan is to do about 10 pounds of sand. To a pound, a little over 1.2 pound and 2 ounces. And then we'll see how we're able to mix it up. Okay, it's 10 pounds. 10 pounds, 1 ounce, so let's go to 11 pounds, 3 ounces. Okay. Now, scale out of the way. A lot of different ways to do this. I'm going to try it with a paint mixer. Plan was doing a bucket, which I think would work better, but I filled a 5-gallon bucket up with.
Yes, it was creating way too much dust. My bad.
With regular sand. So we'll do it by hand a little bit. I'm wearing the glove not because of oil, because again, this is just sand right now. We'll mix a water in with this, but it will dry your hand out. the clay. It's easy to mix dry, so mix it best you can dry, and then add water. See what it does? Again, it's the sand and the clay mix. It just falls apart. See what it does when you add water. What's nice with this, if it dries out a little bit, just add a little more water. Now, I'm using a spray bottle. This is a cleaning bottle, but this is water for the garage. Starting to pack.
This is a slow process of adding water, mixing it around, adding water, mixing it around, but you want an even consistency throughout. So take your time.
So the nice thing with this, I don't want to over wet it, but if it's under wet, which I actually think is pretty good right now, but if it's under wet, I can add water to it before I go to mold. So I think it turned out pretty good. Now this is just 10 pounds. I'm actually going to do 50. I'll put this in a container, then I'll continue mixing, and then we'll talk a little bit at the end how I felt it turned out. All right, we finished out the green sand, and really this was a mixture of play sand that was sifted, some kitty litter, clay kitty litter that was ground up, and then just a water-based mixture with this. So we can re-energize this with water easily. And then before that, we did the Petro sand, which we already had the sand. It just needed more oil added. So we will see which one turned out better in the next video. I'm actually going to do a pour. We're going to try both and see how it turns out. All right. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit those notifications so you can see anytime we get a video out. Thanks for watching.